Hi everyone, Jordan here from the 2014 Vail Film Festival. We're going to be talking to some filmmakers today. Ben Cotner, did I say that right?
Yep.
Great to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
We're screening your film, The Case of Eight, this week. Tell us a little synopsis about the film.
Sure.
To start.
The Case Against Eight is it's a documentary that follows the lawyers and the plaintiffs who were involved in the challenge to Proposition 8, which was a constitutional amendment in California that banned same-sex marriage. So our story picks up after the proposition has passed and follows them all the way through the courts up to the Supreme Court, where just 1 year ago they argued in front of the Supreme Court, and they eventually won, and Proposition 8 was overturned.
Where did you come into this story? Why did this story attract you? Why did you need to make this movie?
Sure. I think I was originally drawn to the idea that these two famous lawyers, Ted Olson and David Boyce, are the main lawyers in the case. They were famous for arguing in Bush v. Gore on opposite sides of the courtroom, and so they were partnering on this very important civil rights case. So to see two legal giants come together, and they're the sort of the best of the best when it comes to lawyers, to see them bring their talent and their strategy to this case was a really interesting and unique perspective on an already important case. So, initially we contacted the group that was sponsoring the lawsuit, and they allowed us to start filming. And fortunately, Ted and David also signed on to allowing us to film behind the scenes with all of the work that they were doing.
Cool. Must have been a trip, yeah?
It was a long roller coaster for 5 years.
What is the future of this? You're screening here. I'm sure you're going to be in other festivals. Is there distribution in line?
Doing New York and LA June 6th, expanding to 10 other cities June 13th, and then we'll be on HBO June 23rd.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a tough road to hoe. Well done. You've made a number of films. What is your favorite part of filmmaking?
Well, I actually come from the executive side of filmmaking, so I've worked at Paramount Pictures and another distribution company for over 10 years. So this is the first film that I've actually directed.
Oh, cool.
So for me, just getting to be out there, meeting new people, and getting to know the subjects. After 5 years of spending with the people who are in our film, you really get to know people, and to be able to craft and tell their stories, I think it's an honor.
That's great. Was there a point in your life that you decided you needed to be a filmmaker? What was that, if there was?
After 10 years of being an executive, I realized that I needed to get out of there. I'd always been really drawn to documentaries and enjoyed watching them, and knew that I always wanted to make one. So the fact that this story came across my lap, and it was just sort of like, wow, this is the perfect story if I'm ever going to do it. This is the one I need to do it. So fortunately, it all worked out.
As far as documentary filmmakers, are there people working that you aspire to be, that inspire you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. I mean, it's great. We were at Sundance this year, and just to be with so many people that I'd looked up to for so long who are also playing films there. I mean, there's too many to list, and I wouldn't want to offend anybody by not mentioning them, but there's such a rich community, and I've learned a lot just from being around them.
Cool. Well, it's your directorial debut. So can you give those brand new filmmakers, those up and coming film directors, a little piece of advice? Yeah,
I mean, I think the thing that I always say is I was always told in school that, it's impossible, making film is not. I'm like, why would teachers tell students that?
Right.
The most important thing is, that you just make the leap and you do it. Pick up a camera, start filming, and you'll get some things wrong, and you'll get some things right, and hopefully you'll learn over time. But I think just making the leap and trusting yourself to tell the story that you want to tell is the most important thing.
Cool. Do you work with the same group of people, or would you want to? I know you've been an executive.
I've been really lucky. I worked with a co-director this time. His name's Ryan White. He's incredibly talented. He's done 2 other films. And we had one of the best editors in the world who's famous for doing amazing documentaries. Her name's Kate Amend. Another associate editor, Helen Kearns. And they're all insanely talented in their own right, so I'd be honored to work with them all again.
Cool. Do you think you'd ever venture away from documentary and do drama or comedy?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think right now the stories that I want to tell are in the documentary form, and if one came along that I thought would fit for narrative, I would consider it, but for now, documentaries.
Well, that's it for us at the 2014 Vail Film Festival. Check out vailfilmfestival.com for updates. We'll see you next year.